What's up, everybody? It's PB here, and I'm back with another review, this time of Stargirl Season 1, Episode 4, Wildcat. And I guess it was a little wild. It wasn't as wild as I was expecting compared to the first 3 episodes, because, I mean, them first 3, they're really throwing stuff out there. You're introduced to all kinds of villains. This episode is a little different than that. So, if it's your first time here, go ahead and hit that subscribe. If you're excited to talk about Stargirl, or just listen to what I have to say, go ahead and hit that like button, and we'll get into it right now. You know how we do it here. We start with the non-spoilers, and then we'll get into the spoilers, so you can stick around for the short overview before we do the big overview afterwards. So we'll start with the short stuff, then we'll get into the detailed stuff. The short story is Wildcat is the episode where they are introducing the new Wildcat. That's the whole point of this episode, is we're introducing another hero to the story, to the team, whatever you want to call it. Like, whatever you would like to call it. I guess we'll call it the new JSA. I don't know if they're going to come up with better names. Like, maybe they will, maybe they won't. It doesn't take much to come up with better names than Justice Society of America and Injustice Society of America. So fingers crossed they can come up with a better name than that, but who knows? The whole episode revolves around introducing this character and how she is going to interact with Stargirl. Because I can't get into any of the spoilers yet because I don't want to lose all of you people who are watching my review. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so very much for clicking on the review. But yeah, the whole thing, I mean, it's the shortest episode that they had so far, so anybody who's watching on CW instead of DC Universe, you're not going to miss anything. Because it was 42 some odd minutes, and that's with the DC intro, which they don't use on CW, obviously. And then that's with the credits on the end, which they're going to chop off. They don't always run the credits on the CW. I get that. So you're going to get the entire episode this time without anything cut out. I'm very confident of that. So I guess that's a positive. And the negative to this episode was the lack of action. I was hoping that there was going to be some interaction with some villains, and that there just wasn't anything going on. Like, I don't know if you consider that a spoiler. Some people do, some people don't. It was just, there wasn't a whole lot as far as punches thrown, explosions happening, people's lives being put in peril. Anyway, it was a good episode. It wasn't a great episode. I mean, it's the 4th one ever. And I would have to say that it's probably the worst one that they've had. Now, I don't know if that has to do with the story. I don't know if that has to do with the amount of time. I don't know if it has to do with the lack of action. Because all of the story beats in it, the amount of comedy relative to everything else seemed like it fit. But other than that, I don't know. But that's pretty much all I can cover. The score and soundtrack still seem to fit quite well. But other than that, that's pretty much all we can cover with the non-spoiler. So we'll get into the spoiler stuff now. So if you need to check out, go ahead and check out and go watch this episode. Or if you don't want to watch the episode and you just want to get the real quick overview, I'll go as fast as I can and we'll go through it. Okay. Episode starts off, and the new chick that we're introduced to, her name is Yolanda. She's running for, I assume, class president. She's dating Brainwave's son at the time. This is 3 months ago. And they're starting to get quite serious. They're texting back and forth. He wants a dirty picture. So she sends him a dirty picture, which, that was a mistake. She didn't think it was going to be a mistake because, they were in love. So she sends the picture. Well, the chick that she is running against for this class president, she's a royal fucking bitch. A royal fucking bitch. And she steals the kid's phone and sends the picture to herself. And later on, when they're at some assembly where she's given a speech for whatever the hell they're running for, which, I don't remember. It just says vote Yolanda. That's all it says. I'll remember if it says class president. Doesn't matter. Anyway, she's up giving her speech. This fucking cunt, she decides to send this topless picture all to everyone. I assume she just got the school frickin' email. She's like, okay, send it around. Everyone gets the picture. And she is ashamed big time. She just takes off running off the stage and totally loses her standing, loses the election, loses her boyfriend. They break up, never to hang out ever again. They don't even talk. And then we cut to the credits or the intro or whatever you want to call it. And then it's Courtney, Stargirl, in her room looking at all of the stuff that she stole from the Justice Society Hall. And she's like, okay, just checking it out. And Pat calls for her from downstairs, but right before that, she decides that she's got to check out this pen, and she goes to click it, and she clicks it, and nothing happens. Not a single thing happens. So she packs everything into a duffel bag, stuffs it in her closet, puts the pen in with the other pens like a putz. Oh man, what a putz. What a damn putz. Anyways, when she walks out of the room, the pen chuckles again. I don't know what's going on with this pen, but it chuckles again. So, oh man, something magical is going on with this pen, and it's going to be spectacular when the reveal actually happens. I don't know. I'm not going to read the comic. I don't want it spoiled for me. You probably don't want it spoiled for you either. So she goes downstairs. Pat's making eggs and either sausage or bacon for everybody, and his son walks in and he's like, hey, do we got any Pop-Tarts? I ain't see any Pop-Tarts in here. And he's like, eggs aren't gonna kill you, but sugar might. He's like, sugar ain't gonna kill me, I'll be fine. Sugar ain't gonna kill me, I'll be fine. Like, dude, you already hopped up on sugar. Did you have frickin' Pop-Tarts already in your room or something? So then, Brenda walks in. At least I'm pretty sure her name is Brenda. Yeah, that sounds right. Gosh, I hope I'm not getting that wrong. I'll sound like a fool. Anyway, she comes into the room, and he goes, hey, do we got any Pop-Tarts? And she gets some out of the other cupboard. Oh, they were hidden in the other cupboard. There we go. And she hands them to him, and he's like, awesome. They're the cookies and cream one. Puts them into the frickin' toaster, and boom. Side note, do they make any Pop-Tarts that are tart? Because as far as I know, all of them pop when you put them in the toaster, as long as your toaster works. But I've never had one that's tart. All of them are sweet. Even the ones that are made with tart berries, like the strawberry flavor one, still sweet, packed with sugar. Anyways, not the point. Not the point. Courtney starts talking to Pat after Brenda leaves and the kid leaves, like, we need to be recruiting people. He's like, we can't be dragging other people in. She's like, you said that we couldn't do this alone. He's like, no, that's not what I said. I said we couldn't do this. And she goes, that's the same thing. And I laughed. I was like, oh man, I love how she does her best Obi-Wan Kenobi impersonation by, from a certain point of view, Pat, from a certain point of view. Anyways, she takes off to school, and people are being mean to Yolanda, like that royal fucking bitch is still being a fucking cunt to her, and Courtney's just trying to be nice, and she's like, hey man, I just want to be friends, like, I'm just trying to help. That's all I ever do, is try and help. That's it. And then Pat's at the junkyard trying to buy stuff, and a dude's hassling him. He's always hassling him. This dude at the junkyard is a real dick, like a real fucking dick. I don't understand it. Anyway, like, they just keep hanging. He gets his part at the junkyard, and then when he gets back to his shop, the wizard's wife is there, and she's leaving town with a cat and a bunch of stuff from her kid just in one box. She's like, that's all I got left of my son. oh, don't trust the people in this town. Like, she left a bunch of clues for Pat that there's a bunch of evil people in town, but she can't say anything more. And she's like, I've already said too much, Pat, but I gotta get out of here. I gotta go right now. Like, it's gotta happen. Like, don't be trusting anyone. And then Jordan, what's his face? Icicle. He goes downstairs, and we get introduced to, I don't know, some king dragon? I don't know. He looks like a fucking lizard person. And he's like, hey, can I have the wizard's body for inspection or whatever the fuck? And I was like, dude, what are you gonna do to this dead wizard's body? Like, this is some creepy shit. I like it. Like, that is how you introduce the creepy villain. Like, everybody so far, at least villain-wise, they've been sinister, but this guy is creepy, and it was frickin' good. It was damn good. Then we cut back to the school, and Yolanda is in the gym, and she's just going to town on the heavy bag, going to town on the heavy bag, going to town on the heavy bag. And Courtney walks into the gym, and she just gets this big shit-eating grin on her face, like, oh yeah, I found somebody I can work with. This bitch can throw a punch. Hell yes. And she's like, well, hey man, like, I just want to be friends. Like, you want to come over to my house? Like, I blew up your ex-boyfriend's car. You want to know how I did that? Like, you come over to the house, I'll tell you how I blew up his car. He's a real asshole because he sent that picture around, even though they don't know it wasn't him. I don't know if they're ever going to know. Like, it might get revealed at some point in the future. Maybe, maybe not. We'll never know unless you watch, or unless you just want to listen to me. Like, I will keep you informed on what happens in the show, people. I can do that for you. So Yolanda goes back home. She ain't got a phone because she been grounded for 3 fucking months. Ever since she sent this picture, she been grounded. She's like, nope. And she's like, well, Mom, I was thinking, like, I got this one friend at school, I could go over there for dinner. And she's like, no, man, you're grounded. She's like, for how long? She's like, until I say you're not anymore. I was like, fucking A, man, that is rough. You're grounded indefinitely. Like, indefinitely is a long fucking time. A real long fucking time. So then, next day at school, Courtney's like, hey, so you still won't be my friend? Because I know you didn't come to dinner last night, but you probably got a reason for that, right? Yeah, she got a reason for it, all right. But she's like, don't you get it? I don't want to be your friend. She's like, yeah, you want to be my friend, like. And then the chick, like, starts crying over it. Yolanda starts crying, and Courtney's like, well, how about you just come over and we can be friends. So then, oh, gosh. I feel like I might have gotten ahead of myself, but it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. The mother of the wizard leaves the house. Leaves the town. God, what an idiot. Who's listening to me right now? Is anybody still listening? If you're still listening, down in the comments, put hashtag Pat is boss. Anybody. One person. If one person can do it, I feel like it'll be a victory. Anyway, we'll continue on. Yolanda comes over to the house, and she introduces her to all the stuff. She's like, I need you to be my Wildcat. She gives her the suit. She's like, suit smells awful. And this helmet, it smells even worse than the suit does. And she's like, well, it looks terrible. Like, you're looking all sexy in your nice form-fitting suit. She's like, I can tailor it. It's fine. Just don't worry about it. Just put the friggin' helmet on. And she puts the frickin' hat on, or the Wildcat hat on, and the frickin' suit form fits to her body. Like, just sucks right in. I was like, holy shit. I did not see that shit coming. I thought it was just, zip it up, man. Like, suit up. That's actually suiting up. Bitchin'. It was bitchin' as hell. And they were like, okay, well, what does Wildcat do? So what did I do? They go to Wikipedia. They're like, he has claws. Oh, well, we just trust Wikipedia now. Boom. Has claws. Go downstairs. So what do? The claws can go through metal. What do they decide to destroy? They destroyed the boy's toaster. You bitches. Why are you destroying his toaster? Come on now. So then next thing is, they're like, oh, he had cat-like agility. So After that, they go outside and she jumps up on the fence. And she's just walking on top of the fence, no problem. Like, the suit helps her in the same ways or same type of fashion, magically speaking. I didn't realize that this suit was going to have powers to it. Like, it made her balance. And then the last thing, they said, well, Wildcat, he always lands on his feet every time. So she just does some weird flip off the frickin' fence, boom, lands on her feet, bam. And I was like, oh, that is sweet as hell. Like, you're always gonna land on your feet no matter what you do? Well, at least that's what we're led to believe. I mean, that might be foreshadowing. So then, oh, what the hell? What happened next? What happened next? I can't frickin' tell on my screen. Why can't I tell what happened on my screen? Oh, Stargirl and Wildcat, they decide that they're gonna go out on a mission to check out Brainwave, 'cause he's evil and he's a villain. I was like, okay, whatever. So they're like, well, how we get into the hospital? Well, how you get into the hospital? Well, she's like, well, I can fly on my staff, so I can just float up there. But you're gonna have to climb this wall. She's like, what do you mean climb the wall? Well, you got claws. So she takes her claws, she just starts climbing the wall. She's a little apprehensive at first, but then boom, she just starts going to town. She gets like 30 feet up, boom, grabs a brick, boom, that brick falls the fuck out. She starts falling to death, but she catches herself. I don't know how exactly she caught herself, but she was able to catch herself. Like, I know how you're supposed to fall off a wall. I thought for sure that she was gonna fall, because earlier she was trying to jump off the building but didn't have the courage. I was like, well, you got the courage now because you're falling, so you better frickin' land. But no, she caught herself. The guy walks out, he notices the brick, but then somebody else comes up. Another frickin' chick comes up who works at the hospital, and she goes, hey man, how you doing, yada yada yada. So he doesn't frickin' notice the brick, so she climbs all the way up there. They get into the hospital, but not before the cosmic staff destroys an entire frickin' closet, which then gets blamed on a janitor. Like, this cosmic staff is a real dick. A real dick. I don't entirely understand it, but he's a real dick. Like, he don't want to be listening. He just want to be doing his own thing. Like, Courtney only wanted to deflate his tires in the first episode. This motherfucker blew up a car, and now it's destroyed. She's like, dude, just chill. And it destroyed knocked everything on the floor, and now this motherfucker got blamed for it, and now he got to clean it up? I'm like, god dang. Not taking responsibility for anything, do you, cosmic staff? Do you? So then they go into the room with Brainwave, and his son is sitting there. And he's all distraught, and they're like, oh, well, we can't be killing a villain with his son in the room, so they hold back. And I was like, okay, so we're not about to kill a villain? That's not what's gonna happen? And then they just leave. I was like, I don't know exactly what's going on. I mean, I guess I can get on board with not killing somebody who's been disarmed. Like, I get that. I totally get that. But it felt like a little Batwoman-ish. If you're just gonna be letting the bad guys go. I mean, he's not going anywhere. He's in a fucking coma. But I don't understand entirely what you were doing there if you were just there to check on him. And Yolanda gets back home. She's like, hey man, like they get back to Stargirl's home. She's like, I don't think I can be this Wildcat. Like, I'm not the person that you were looking for. This is not the life for me. Like, I gotta get my own life straight before I can be doing something on top of it. She's like, okay, whatever. Like, and so Yolanda goes home, and they're like, Yolanda, you were outside? I thought that you were upstairs. It was fucking hilarious. I was like, you don't know who the fuck your high school daughter is? And she was allegedly grounded? Excellent parenting, guys. Excellent parenting. They start yelling. The boy, her brother, he's like, why you always yelling at her? This is some bullshit. Like, she got in trouble 3 months ago. He didn't say that. That's me embellishing a little bit, but that's what it felt like. Oh my god. She's like, yeah, I felt like I'd done my time. I know I disgraced you, but I'm asking for forgiveness so that I can go back to the way I used to be. And her mother says, You can never go back to the way that you used to be. You disgraced this family, and you dishonored us all. And then her dad goes, yeah, get in your room, and don't come down. And he puts the TV back on, and then her brother just leaves the room, all pissed off. And I was like, oh shit, son. Like, there's gonna be some dissension in the ranks in this frickin' family. Oh my god. So she gets up to her room, and sure enough, next to the window is a note from Stargirl saying that, let me bring this up on my screen because I don't want to misquote or misread the note. Oh man, where is it? Let's scroll to the note here, guy. You can do it. What does the note say? I don't remember. It's real fucking short, and I feel like a fucking idiot. Like a big fucking idiot. It's gotta be right here. Where is it? Like, really? It's right here. Let me see what the note... It says, be my fucking Wildcat, and she's like, yeah, I'm gonna be Wildcat. Excellent. And I thought this was when the episode was over, but there was still one more bombshell. Pat decides that he gotta get one more part from the frickin' junkyard, and he walks into the junkyard, and there's a cat in the junkyard, and I was like, oh, junkyard cat, who cares about junkyard cat? He goes a little further into the junkyard, and he realizes it was the cat that was with the wizard's wife, and the wizard's wife's vehicle is in the junkyard, all smashed to all hell, and all of the stuff is still in the car, like she just done disappeared, like she's fucking dead. Like, they got to her, man. They 100% got to her. Yeah, that's how they ended it. So there'd be villains all over the place on this fucking show. And if you haven't seen it yet, you need to go check it out. So that's pretty much all I got for you this time. So if you like this, go ahead and hit the like button. If you don't like this kind of review, dislike and tell everybody this was shit. But I feel like I'm doing a halfway decent job. So listen to what I got coming up next. Please shut the door so that there's not a whole bunch of noise coming from out there. You're trying to ruin the end of my recording, woman. And until next time, I bid you adieu.
If you are enjoying the content, please hit subscribe and ding the bell for notifications. That way you will never miss an upload by Pop Culture PB.